Hey everybody, Kono Pro here, coming at you with a cool video. Hope you all enjoy. So basically what we got going on today are these are some exterior cabinets, little kitchenette area in the backyard. And as you can tell, they're pretty messed up. They need some work. So what there was is some old 1/4 inch cabinet doors that were on some old tracks that were just inefficient. So we're gonna put some new plywood cabinet doors on there, and we're using some plywood, some cabinet grade plywood basically, and we're going to be installing those doors. So right there, like, we'll have 2 doors there, and then 2 doors on the bottom part, and then we'll have 2 doors there, there, and there. All right, but to do that, we're going to have to install some framing, basically add some framing to these cabinets. So they have basically a face for the cabinet doors to go to, and there it is. So I didn't really shoot that part of the video, but what I did is I installed some select pine, and as you can see here, I basically just made a face, just framed in a face, and I just framed in little frames, popped them in there, and then attached my face to the frames. And I used some 1x4 select pine. I got some 1x2 for the inside frame, pretty basic. Attached my top piece, then my bottom piece, my center piece, and then attached my face to it. You see I got my top face there, I got my center vertical piece there, and then I have my bottom piece down there. And typically you'd have a toe kick and everything like that, but these are existing cabinets and we're just trying to make them look a lot nicer. So by adding that framing right there, we can now add our doors to that framing. Okay, and so that's just the center. That I put that 1x in the back of that to give it some structural support, if you see, and then I put the 1x on the face on the front. And then we're going to be building some doors. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to be taking some measurements of our openings. What I like to do is actually scribe where my hinges are going to go. I'll mark where those hinges are actually going to be, and then I'll take a measurement from the inside hinge to inside hinge, and that'll give me a more accurate size, opening for my cabinet door. And once I figure out all basically the sizes of my cabinet doors, then I'll go ahead and cut those. And if you find an opening and it's like 24 by 24, and you measure your cabinet door, like that one's 61, so then you would make it like 62. It'll give you 1/2 inch overlap, 1/2 inch overlap over your bottom and your top. And if you do it on the side measurement as well too, if it's 20 inches and you go 21, you got a 1/2 inch overlap on the side. We're going to be routering the edges of these cabinet doors here. As you can see, I'm taking measurements. It's going to be a cool video. Hope you enjoy it. Sit back, see how I get down with my carpentry work, and if you see anything that can give you some tips on some projects that you have planned in the future, or for clients or whatever, then maybe this video will inspire you. And you can see I'm doing it right here at, on my client's driveway. That this is something that you can do if you have the skills and you have the tools. But if you don't, then you can hire someone, hopefully someone who's skilled enough to do it. But check it out. Hope you liked the video, and please subscribe. Thank you. now we're about to do some router work. Oh yeah. So what we got here is a basic router, and these routers are cool. They come with like a bunch of cool different tips. You can buy many different tips, and they're really awesome. You can basically take any piece of wood and router the edge of it, and it now turns into like a custom little frame, or you can do doors, which in this case that's what we're doing, some cabinet doors. As you can see, I'm clamping it down, and then I'm gonna router the edge here, and like I said, it just gives the cabinet some cool detail. We're using some 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood, and that gives it strength. I wouldn't want to use anything less than 3/4 inch thickness for a cabinet door. But if you see here right now, we're about to router the edge. Trying to get a cool shot for you right there. You can see the router blade routering away. Oh yeah. So that's how it looks. You just basically press it up against your board. There's actually a guide that comes on the router bit. It's a little bearing, a little wheel on the bottom of it, and that actually is a guide, so it doesn't allow your router to push in too far. If that little bearing isn't on there, then you'd have to have a table, router with a table on it with a guide built in to give you your nice clean edge. But these bits have a little wheel on it, like I said, a little bearing, so it's like a guide. So you just push it along the edge, and it just allows you to router the whole edge and give you that killer little detail. And then bam, see, check it out. I dry fit it, make sure it fits good, and it does. So here we are, routering another edge. Oh yeah. Alright everybody, I hope you like this video. Like I say, it's just me doing some carpentry work for one of my clients. Typically I'd like to throw in some new cabinets, but this is fun too. It's always fun rejuvenating some old cabinets, and it's cool, like we don't have to get rid of this old stuff. We can reclaim it, basically, rejuvenate it and bring it back to life, give it some more life to it, last another 10 years. And see here, I'm taking a sander, and when you're working with a palm sander like this, you really have to work fast. As you can see, I'm working fast right there. But you have to move it fast, because if not, you can actually sand too much and ruin your edge. A lot of people would actually prefer to use a hand sander instead of that palm sander, the automated one, because they'd be afraid of sanding down that edge. But it's cool if you get a little rhythm. You probably want to practice on another piece first before you do it on your finished cabinet piece, to make sure that you can do it properly first before you do it on your actual cabinet door that you're working on. But yeah, that's how we do it. Alright everybody, hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Awesome. So after we get all our hinges onto our doors, we take some final measurements and make sure our door is going to line up exactly where we want them. So I like to, measure it's like a ½ inch up, right? We know our door is a ½ inch overlip if we, made it an inch over it. So if I measure up a ½ inch, then I know that's going to be my door. So I mark that line, and then I set up my hinge right to it. And then what I'll do is I'll set one hinge first. See, I'll set one screw right here in the top, bam, and then I'll set one screw in the bottom hinge, 2, and I'll make sure both see those 2 marks. When I look back at the top, if you look at those 2 marks, they're lined up perfectly. That's how you know it's level, because you measured already and you made your marks, so you know you're perfect. Bam. And then I take my other door and I have the same measurements on there, ½ inch up from the lip, both sides, and then I set that door, I give it about an 1/8 inch gap in the middle, so I make sure it lines up perfect and even with the other door. You see that? It's pretty important to get those doors lined up. And then I'll set that top screw, and I keep pressure on the door while I'm doing this. And then the bottom, now I can pull the outer in to make sure that gap stays, the same all the way down. And then I'll set that top screw on that hinge, and then I'll test it to make sure they operate good. Now, by only setting those 2 screws on those hinges, I could pull the hinge right or left to the bottom or the top to make adjustments, right? But everything looks great, so I'm just going to lock in the rest of those screws. Okay, so that's how you set those doors. So once I have all the rest of the doors set, then we'll prep the doors for a clear coat, and then we're going to apply some exterior clear coat. Okay, and when you pick a clear coat, make sure it's exterior grade clear coat. All right, everybody, there it is. Enjoy. Thank you. Now we're throwing on some cabinet door handles here. And I just wanted to mention to everybody that if you look on the Kono Pro YouTube channel, if you check us out, we have an existing video on there on that's how to install cabinet door handles and pulls. And check it out. Hope you all enjoy it. Please subscribe and give us a like. We'd appreciate it. So basically, we're finishing these cabinets off. Going to install the rest of these handles on there, and then after we do that, we're going to give a final our final finished clear coat. But I also wanted to mention here too, is if you notice those two big doors, you see how the grain lines up? When we designed these doors and I was out there cutting these doors, I made it a point to use one solid piece of cabinet grade plywood right there, and I really liked the grain, and I made it so when I cut it that the grain would line up just like that. And if you pay attention to that kind of stuff when you're doing carpentry work, and especially if you're working with wood and it's going to be clear coated and you can really work with the grain, then it can turn out to be like an art piece. And so after we get all these handles on, we're going to give everything a light sanding with some 400 grit sandpaper. And I typically like to give, my finish wood work, 3 clear coats. I'll give it one first clear coat, and then I'll give it a light sanding, and then I'll give it a second clear coat, and then the first sanding will be with a 200 grit, and then I'll give it a third sanding, and then the third sanding will be a 400 grit, and then after that I'll do the final coat. And the final coat, after you do that, it's just gonna be great. So here it is, we're ready to go. See how already it's just looking beautiful, and that's just with 2 coats. And we're about to hit it with our 400 grit sandpaper, which that's what this is right here. And when you're sanding it, you'll look like you're scuffing it up and like you're messing it up, like it starts to turn white. You'll think you're ruining your beautiful job, but it's not. It's as soon as you wipe it with a damp rag after you do this light sanding, and then you hit it with the next coat, it's just gonna come out like glass, like really nice and smooth and beautiful, and really amazing. And we're just turning these cabinets from those old exterior grade cabinets to some new awesome cabinets. And like I say, hope you all enjoy the videos, and we appreciate making them for you. Thank you, everybody. Everybody, all finished up. We even painted the interiors with some exterior grade black paint, and then we also threw in some cabinet grade plywood on the bottom of the cabinets too. So and then we threw some clear coat on the interior of the bottom of the cabinets as well. And there it is. Bam! See how glossy it is? You can basically see my reflection on the cabinet doors. And I'm just making sure it all looks clean before I let it cure. We even threw some door stops in there. That way when the wind comes through, the doors won't just fly open. And bam, there it is. Took some cabinet grade plywood, cut them to size, routed the edges, threw some hardware on there, threw some clear coat, and boom, we got some beautiful cabinet doors. And that's how we do it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little something. We love making a video for you. Please subscribe and leave a thumbs up. All right, everybody. Kono Pro out.